Bears, and now Rodgers sits down. He's coming out of the game.
I am at a loss of words. I can't even believe that this is something that occurred. I didn't even think that this was something that can occur. And it's looking really bleak. Make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we got all that out of the way. A huge smile to my face. Bam, 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 bam. You guys are making bank on Prize Picks. I absolutely love it. Week 1 was a huge success for a lot of you guys. And we're gonna keep it going, man. Each and every day, I post my picks for free on my Instagram story at The Flight Mike. And we're gonna feature the best slips on this channel each and every week. So submit them to me via Instagram DMs if you want to be featured. And if you haven't started playing Prize Picks, you use my promo code Mikerophone and they'll match your initial deposit when you sign up on Prize Picks. And thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mike check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The New York Jets are without a doubt one of the most complete rosters in the entire NFL. On paper, that is a fact. Look at the entire roster, and there isn't a single hole on the roster. I mean, wide receiver is deep with Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Randall Cobb. Tight end, they have Tyler Conklin and CJ Uzoma. On defense, they're loaded at the edge with Carl Lawson, Jermaine Johnson, and Will McDonald. On the inside, they have John Franklin Myers and Quinnen Williams. Linebacker, they have CJ Mosley. And don't even get me started on Sauce Gardner at the cornerback position. This team is as loaded as can be. There's always been 2 weak spots for them. The first one being the offensive line. The offensive line has been often injured for this team because whenever Mekhi Becton was playing, he was a very solid offensive tackle, at least on the blind side. They also selected Elijah Vera Tucker 2 drafts ago, in addition to Connor McGovern, and they recently added Dwayne Brown. So they did their best to put together a better offensive line. The other weak spot for the New York Jets has always been the quarterback position. This has been their weak spot for the past, I guess since Chad Pennington was their quarterback. And even when he was their quarterback, he dealt with a lot of injuries. And during the 2020 season, the New York Jets really had a phenomenal opportunity to get themselves their quarterback of the future. All they had to do was tank, but they weren't even able to do that properly, allowing the LA Rams to defeat them during that season and losing the Trevor Lawrence tankathon to the Jacksonville Jaguars. The worst part is the New York Jets ended up selecting a quarterback after Trevor Lawrence, and that was Zach Wilson. Now, Zach Wilson could one day be a star. I mean, so far it doesn't look like it, but maybe one day he could be. He does lack leadership.
As an offense, though, when you guys are only able to score 3 points, the defense only lets up 3 points. Do you feel like you let the defense down at all?
No.
And last year, we saw the self-destruction of Zach Wilson. It got worse and worse and worse. He had Mike LaFleur taking the blame himself, saying it was his fault that Zach Wilson wasn't developing.
I got to do a better job. I got to do a better job for him. I got to do a better job for the offense. I truly believe it starts with me. It ends with me. So I got to figure out a way to reset him, get him back to playing fundamentally sound football, and more importantly, just consistent football, because he's done some really good things, but I haven't done a good enough job to get the consistency out of him. So that starts and ends with me.
You had Garrett Wilson, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year with the most unstable quarterback play we've ever seen, throw Zach Wilson under the bus by calling the offense terrible.
Sorry. We out here looking sorry, man. And we know that we're not sorry. So that's why it really hurts, We know that we're better than that. That's why it hurts.
And the worst part is he would double down on it and even mention that his teammates were happy he did it.
I definitely feel like it did. I didn't mean any harm to anyone, by saying it. And I don't think anyone took it that way, luckily, honestly, I feel like people was happy I said it.
Eventually it got so bad that you saw Jets teammates rocking Mike White merchandise. It seemed like the New York Jets were able to have a decent season in spite of Zach Wilson. But it was very clear that Zach Wilson wasn't the quarterback that was going to win a Super Bowl with this team. Maybe in the future, they weren't willing to give up on him yet, but at least for now, it seemed like Zach Wilson needed some time. Luckily for the New York Jets, there's a quarterback that wants one last chance at a Super Bowl that's actually good friends with Zach Wilson and was willing to take on the mentorship role to Zach Wilson, and that was Aaron Rodgers. No, he straight up said he wants to only play for like 2 or 3 years and then hand it off to Zach Wilson. Watch.
Like to be able to play a few good years here and then hand it right back off to Zach and let him go for the next 15, and it'd be a really special, 18 to 20 year run of great quarterback play.
Unfortunately, it seems like this plan is going to come to a screeching halt, to all of our dismay. Monday Night Football opened up remarkably. I mean, Aaron Rodgers running out of the tunnel with the American flag. Okay, all right, fine. It was a little ironic, but it was truly a beautiful sight to behold. And it was truly a remarkable way to commemorate the September 11th attacks. But it seemed like that was the highlight of his New York Jets tenure, because the moment that we were all waiting for finally came. And a lot of us wish that it didn't happen. Some people are blaming the fact that it was raining a little bit earlier. After all, Adam Schefter tweeted out that there was shelter as a result of the weather. I'm assuming it was as a result of the weather, but in Aaron Rodgers' very first drive, he would sustain an injury that would keep him out for the remainder of the game. And just a heads up, man, if you get queasy, if you see injuries or anything of that sort, I'd look away. Here's how Aaron Rodgers' injury looks close up. You could see, and my brother is currently in podiatry school. I asked him for his input. You can follow him on Instagram. It's at Beverly Hills Podiatrist.
When he finally posts some content, God damn it, Raph, post some content on your Instagram.
So you could see that the issue that Aaron Rodgers is having 100% pertains to the ankle. According to my brother, he also got a second opinion. The best case scenario for this injury is a high ankle sprain. If it's a high ankle sprain, then Aaron Rodgers will be able to continue to play. The bad news is, at least early on, you need imaging to be certain for sure. The eye test implies that it's something to do with the Achilles. Some people suspect it's a Lisfranc. I don't think it's a Lisfranc, and Aaron Rodgers would get ruled out for the entirety of the game. Now, this comes secondary to everything, but I just want to remind you guys, this has an impact on the Green Bay Packers too. In order for the Green Bay Packers to get a first round pick from the New York Jets this year, Aaron Rodgers would need to play in at least 70% of his snaps for it to be a first round pick. But this storyline means one thing, and one thing in particular, and that's the fact that once again, the New York Jets are back where they were last year. In came Zach Wilson, and I must admit, I think this time it was a little bit more depressing than in years past, because this year you would see Breece Hall make like a remarkable play. I mean, truly, this guy looked like he did not tear anything at all last year whatsoever. But then you would see Zach Wilson not being able to make the best out of the opportunities afforded to him by this all-star supporting cast. What's even crappier is this is definitely going to damage Zach Wilson's confidence, and it looked like he was getting a little bit more upbeat in Hard Knocks, mainly because, well, the pressure was no longer on him anymore, and he was able to sit back, watch how Aaron Rodgers handles an entire season, and try to develop as a quarterback. And once again, he's being thrown into the fire with even more pressure and expectations on him. I mean, Breece Hall was performing remarkably. Jordan Whitehead picked off Josh Allen on 3 separate occasions. At a specific point, there was tremendous pressure on Zach Wilson to make a play happen. And to his credit, he was able to make a play happen. He was able to drive it all the way down to find Garrett Wilson for a truly remarkable touchdown. I mean, I don't know how the hell he made this one-handed grab and like tipped it to himself, but he did it to tie the ball game. Now, following this, Josh Allen's nightmare day would continue. He would fumble the football quite literally in field goal range for the New York Jets, and the New York Jets, being ever so trusting in Zach Wilson, made sure to run the ball to make sure that there wouldn't be any turnovers, which would result in a Greg Zuerlein field goal. So Josh Allen would be able to make up for this mistake, driving the Buffalo Bills down towards the end of the fourth quarter to set up the game-tying doink field goal by Tyler Bass. This game was insane, yes. The Buffalo Bills would even elect to receive the football first, and they would go 3 and out. So they would punt the football away, and Hard Knocks legend Xavier Gipson would take it all the way back for a walk-off touchdown, which will conclude one of the craziest football games I think we've ever seen. I have a lot of emotions about this game. On one hand, I really want to know what the future of Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets is going to be. I want to know if Tom Brady is going to come out of retirement to play for the New England Patriots division rival, the New York Jets. That's like an automatic Super Bowl. I wouldn't blame him for doing so. But jokes aside, on one hand, there's a huge question of what the quarterback position is going to look like for the New York Jets moving forward. Are they going to reach out to Carson Wentz? Or are they going to bring out Phillip Rivers from retirement like the San Francisco 49ers wanted to do? We're going to have to wait and see, because we can't really speculate on that, and we're going to make a lot of videos on what the answer to that question is throughout the week. but we're not really going to be able to dive into that until we know what's going on with Aaron Rodgers' ankle, and hopefully Aaron Rodgers' ankle is okay.
All right, I'll deal with the quarterback real quick. Concerned with his Achilles. MRI is probably going to confirm what we think is already going to happen, so prayers tonight, but it's not good.
All right, we're going to have to make a completely separate video on the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers' ankle and everything tomorrow when we officially get the MRI, because we still have to talk about the Buffalo Bills, because on one hand, they were expected to easily beat the New York Jets tonight, especially after what happened to Aaron Rodgers. Despite the Buffalo Bills being gift-wrapped a W, I mean, it was right there. All you had to do was play a mistake-free game on Monday night. Now, I want to also give the New York Jets their flowers. They're one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, we mentioned it earlier in this video. There's a bunch of studs on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't want to make it seem like Josh Allen lost the game as opposed to, well, the New York Jets playing remarkable football defensively. But at the same time, we have to all admit that if Josh Allen didn't have 4 turnovers, the New York Jets were a team that were anemic on offense. I mean, you quite literally had Jets fans flipping off Zach Wilson. So the fact that Josh Allen wasn't able to capitalize off of that and struggled so mightily is a bit of a concern. Now, I will say, it is week 1. It's not like the Buffalo Bills season is over, but I will say it is most definitely concerning. And if it isn't concerning, at the very minimum, we could all agree that this was the Buffalo Bills' worst nightmare, because this was such a winnable game the moment Aaron Rodgers went down. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.